All right, folks, I'm going to be getting started shortly. I'm just giving some time. Y'all are going to walk and talk with me first. Give me a few more minutes. I'm sharing it out to folks. Like I said, we're going to get started shortly. Y'all are going to come walk with me this morning as I take my morning walk before we get to talking about this asset allocation. Because shout out to my man Larry from the No Regret Show. He's been on the heads of a lot of you folks. And it's funny because he's not licensed, but he's giving financial advice, and I don't have a problem with it. He's saying what I'm saying is financial advice. Now, the beauty is what he's saying is financial advice, but he's not giving the disclaimer. The reason it is financial advice is because it's something he's actually doing. So the financial advice is working for him. Now, the caveat to that is your situation may be very different. So, what is financial advice for him, from him, may not constitute as the best thing for or from you in your situation, which is why it's always best to sit down with a professional. I'm not diminishing what the brother does, and nor will he. He will literally, I promise you, he will literally be like, oh, no, I'm not the professional in this. I would definitely concede to someone who has their license and actually does this on a daily basis. The only difference is he is he's at least successful with his portfolio, right? And he's willing to show you some of the transparency in his portfolio. So I think that's the plus there, right? Like I said, we're going to get into it today. But first things first, y'all going to come with me on my morning walk, right? And, or at least my morning sit down in my car, right? I sent this to a bunch of people and I realized something. I used to be worried about offending people. Oh, I'm gonna send this to these people in my Facebook because I remember there were so many people on my Facebook who years ago when I used to tag people on my Facebook and be like, hey, talking about financial advice and financial literacy, these fucking ass faces would be like, don't tag me in your shit. I remember there's one dude, Fabian Cruz, sound like a fucking idiot. Hopefully you see this, Fabian. You and another Facebook friend of mine. Oh, don't tag me in this shit. Now, if I tag you in some shit, oh, Shannon Sharp got his dick sucked by a white girl, you fuck niggas will want to listen to it. But then when I sent it to you niggas and some information as a person who thought I was your friend, you know, don't tag me in this. Why? You don't want to hear about life insurance? Oh, you don't want to hear about generational wealth. You just want to be a fucking victim and complain that white folks fucked you up, even though a black person who's trying to teach you the same shit that you say you can't learn. You, oh, I wouldn't listen to your financial advice. Good, then why are you talking to me? If you wouldn't listen to the advice, stop trying to give criticism as to how to get you as a client. If you wouldn't work with me, then shut the fuck up and get off of my information. This goes out to all my homeboys who are, oh, I'm going to does real estate. Oh, I wouldn't work with you because you got on that hat. Well, you know what? That sounds like you're hating. And the reality is, I know you were hating because when I worked at your real estate firm, your partner already told me some shit about you. But it is what it is because I try to look forward. Mr. O with the info, what's going on? Like I said, I'm going to be doing my morning walk right now, and then I'm going to get into the asset allocation. This is going to be a longer stream than normal. I'm definitely going to leave the the link for people to come up momentarily. Yes, they like gospel or tea, right? I wish I still have. I might have to go through my Facebook and share my screen. Right now, I'm on my phone because I'm doing my walk. But these guys would literally fucking argue it. Don't give me that stuff. Don't tag me in your stuff. But they want to tag. Like, you need to be more clean shaven, and I wouldn't rock with you with that hat. I'm literally wearing a pair of khakis, a fucking polo shirt with a collar. It's winter time, so I have a fucking jacket. It's winter time, so I have a fucking hat. He's like, oh man, I wouldn't work with you as a real estate agent with that hat. You know what? You wouldn't work with me in the first place, so I'm not going to work with you. I'm not going to send you referrals, homeboy. How about that? You see, you got to forget, not only are you in the street, but there's other professionals in the street. And trust me, the money that you want out there in New York, that's why I left your ass for Coldwell Banker. Because the money wasn't at your firm. The support wasn't at your firm. But see, if I come to you like that, you'd feel some type of way. Well, I feel some type of way because you talking shit about what I'm doing. Oh, are you kidding me? The gate is, let me go let my office know that the gate is broken. 1 second. No. And they keep doing it to us. All right. And you want me to come this way or go back around? All right. So, like I said, once I get my little morning everything done, I might just drive a little bit this morning just to take a little morning ride. But a lot of these things, these assets allocations we're going to get to, again, this is the problem. Because people are hating, they're not going to get the info that they need. Mr. O with the info, salute. Thanks for coming by. All right. And like I said, you're gonna get your haters, but shout out to Sheedwe here, right? Because thank you so much. Because just like my buddy was, oh, you gotta be out in the street. No, you gotta be out in the street. Social media is definitely the way. I haven't had to prospect in 4 years. I generally don't even tell people what the fuck I do. I just get it all from social media, right? But he has to do physical real estate. He has to physically be out there. I don't. But he was like, well, you got to do your text messages and stuff to stay in people's face. Why would I do that when I can just go live on YouTube? And now I'm keeping you guys abreast and giving you guys information. So I'm staying on top of the game. The problem is he's in his 50s. And just like dudes used to be like, oh, let's door knock. Well, cold calling became the thing that you could reach more people if you just pick up the phone and dial. So it's the same thing with this. Hi, cutie. So it's the same thing with this, right? It's you've got to work for it. Now, right now, like I said, I'm just belly aching. It might be an hour before I get into the asset allocation. Probably not. But I want to do, the morning walk and talk. I'm gonna get on camera and all that good stuff in a little bit. But like I said, right now, I'm just hopping in my car. I might take my car around the block. How's it going? I might take my car around the block for a little bit, just to go for a ride because it's starting to warm up. And to be where the warmth is, right? Um, but again, ladies and gentlemen, they have this asset allocation that they don't tell you about, and I'm gonna get into it, and I'm gonna get deep into it because it's something that we should all know about. You know what? While I'm at it, I'm just gonna take a cruise around the corner. Actually, I got a pretty good parking spot. I'm not going nowhere. I'm gonna have my morning walk and talk in the car. I'm not even gonna walk, right? This morning. I'll break it up with push-ups. But in the interim, let's look at asset allocation because nobody ever talks about asset allocation, right? Everybody's in investing, but they don't know about asset allocation. Everybody's like, you should invest, but they don't tell you about asset allocation. Yesterday, I showed you guys the real OPM flex, right? In a book called What Would the Rockefellers Do, right? So this studies the fact that the Rockefellers use cash value life insurance. Oh, that's only for rich people. How do you think they get rich? Real estate is all about OPM. So if wealthy people get rich off of real estate, which they don't, wealthy people acquire real estate. It's not the thing that creates the generational wealth. Generational wealth is estate planning. That's why they call it estate. Real estate is just tangible property, but it's no more important than your estate, because every time somebody dies, they have an estate. And if you want to talk about real estate, realtors who are doing big time real estate sell estates. Like you've heard of the Vanderbilt estate, right? That's not just property, that's art, that's land, that's livestock, money, all these different things. Doug, what's going on? Yeah. Oh, Mister's in the building too. I didn't see that. Okay. I'm definitely going to get into it in a little bit. Like I said, I'm just warming up, doing my stream. He says they get money. This damn referral link in the way. Can I move that? No. Okay. It says they get money to sell. They get money on the sale, not the hold. Yeah. And so, you know, when you're looking at fixing and flipping and VR, all that is a way to mire debt. Miss Phoenix, good morning. I saw you over on I think you were over on Diamond Dave's too. I didn't know you followed him too. So Diamond Dave, a good brother, by the way. He's an actual options trader. He does have a course. I do speak against course and options traders, but me and Dave, I would tell you to trust that brother. And the reason I would tell you to trust that brother, number one, he's transparent, right? He's not telling you, listen, you are guaranteed to make $10 bazillion when you take my trading course. You just have to pay me $10 million first, right? He's not telling you, oh, these pips and dips is easy money. He tells you it's hard work, but you can make a lot of money. He also tells you you can lose a lot of money. Now, I've not taken his class or his course because I'm not personally into options, but I know some people who are. And she says, yes, sir, I am. This doggone referral link is in the way. I'll read the comment once somebody else comments. Let me just see what that comment says here so I can have it be able to be read. She says, yes, sir, I am one of his students in his academy. Yeah. So now we may disagree on certain things, but for one of the things was a whole life, but he was saying, why would a person like him in his position want a whole life policy? But then he said something that blew me away, which actually let me know this brother is all the way deep in this. He was saying at his age, he doesn't see the point in whole life insurance. Fine. He said, however, he doesn't understand because a lot of people tell young people to get term life insurance. And he was like, no, as a young person, you should get whole life insurance because it'll stay with you for your whole life. So when you're at my age, you still have it and the price will be dirt cheap. And it's something that you're locked into forever. Also on an economic stance, when you're young, you have less responsibilities. So when you're young, you might not have a lot of money, but what you do have is a lot of expendable money because you don't have responsibilities. When you're 19, 20, 21, most people don't have a lot of responsibilities. You're still living with your parents, you're in college, things like that. You might be broke, but hey, listen, them Beyonce tickets will be there in a couple of years. Beyonce ain't going nowhere. She's probably going to have a residency in Vegas in a couple of years. You'll be able to go to them Beyonce shows. But for now, eat your peanut butter and jelly, eat your ramen, and build your asset allocation portfolio from a small level. because you've got two things on your side, and they're both the exact same thing. You've got time and you've got time. So because you are, 19, 20 years old, you have bunches of years, which means that time is going to help you compound your interest. So it's just going to grow exponentially, right? We're going to get into the asset allocation in a little bit because those things are very important as well, right? It's where you put the money, right? So a lot of people, you have, your 401k, your IRA, blah, 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 and, or a brokerage account of some sort, or somebody who's investing, and you don't, know where the assets are allocated to. So when you don't know where the assets are allocated to, it's generally to things like a target date fund. It might be in PIMCO. It might be in the Magnificent Seven. You have no clue. You're just stuffing money in the 401k. And then the 401k asset manager dictates what you're into. Now you might say, hey, I want an aggressive mix. I want a moderate mix. I want a passive mix or a conservative mix. And they decide what you invest in. You don't dictate your asset allocation. You can dictate your asset allocation, but 99% of people don't dictate their asset allocation. I'll say 95%, right? But a vast majority of people don't dictate their asset allocation. So they don't know what's going where or what it's doing. They just see, oh, the market's up. I think my 401k is up. I think it's down. And you panic. So we're going to learn because, again, shout out to my guy Larry from the No Regrets Show. And while I'm at it, hold on. Let me share this on my YouTube. Okay, so now that I shared this through my YouTube, I'm going to go ahead and finish my walk. Shut off the car real quick. Turn on the camera because I'm going to bring this upstairs to you guys because I'm going to need to share my screen with you. But we're looking at asset allocations, and time in the market versus time in the market is important, but it's also your your allocation strategy. So, you got a lot of people talking about investment. Most people shouldn't be investing unless you got a $500,000. But if you're doing a single investment, $25,000. Anything less than that, and the financial institution cannot trigger an SAR, suspicious activity report, which they need to have to report to the IRS. So when you give your $3,500 to these things, it's not exactly what you think it is. Now, one of the other things, I'm going to go to FINRA because I want to talk about a lot of the people who are day trading who think they're day trading, but they're not. If you're using a cash account, you're not exactly day trading. You're buying the securities in full and you're trading them in full, but it's not a day trade. A day trade cannot be done unless you are a pattern day trader, meaning you execute at least 4 trades in a 5-day period, and you have to have a margin account of at least $25,000. Please don't believe me. Go to FINRA, the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, FINRA.org, and then type in day trade. And you will see that you cannot day trade without a margin account, right? It says it's not permitted, including options, right? I'm not even going to pull that up. I'll let you guys do that on your own, right? Because part of the thing is research. And I'm not speaking against doing it. If you're doing it, do so. Just understand that the small increments that you're gaining are not real gains. You're going to end up having to pay taxes on it. You may not be in the substantially. It might be a couple dollars here or there, but it's not something that's reliable or sustained. Is what the difference is, right? Again, nothing wrong with trading in a cash account. You don't need to actually have your securities licensure to do so. But especially if you're trading other people's money, you need to have a margin account of at least 25,000. Otherwise, it's just not what's happening. Okay. It may feel like it. Somebody might tell you you're trading, but you're not. But again, we're not talking about that because I'm not trying to diminish people who are doing trading. What I'm trying to do today is, like I said, we're going to be talking about asset allocation, what it is, what it means to do so, why someone would do so, so on and so forth. These things matter when you're looking at your finance, right? These things have an effect on your finance. So these things are things that you should want to learn about, right? Give me a second here. Uh, they just mopped up. That's good. It smells weird in the hallway, like chemical, such as like. Morning, Chief. How you doing?
One.
All right. Can't complain. What floor?
We want to number two.
No problem. So again, ladies and gentlemen, the crux of what I'm talking about today in asset allocation is that you don't know exactly what's going on in your 401k, right? You're generally going to be at a target date fund, maybe target date 2035. But what does that mean? Where's your money actually going? What is it actually invested in? So it's invested in generally packages, right? And so it'll be basically like an ETF, right? Or a mutual fund is generally more what ends up happening. And so okay, what's going on? And so in those situations, you may be getting damaged in terms of your uh, growth, right? Your money may not be growing the way that you think it is, right? Oftentimes you'll hear, like when you talk to your advisor, oh, yeah, no, the market's doing 10%. That's overall, right? But what is my actual allocation doing? What is my actual setup looking like, right? And again, we're going to be talking about the asset allocation. Oh, that they're not telling you guys about. K Services, what's going on? Be take this out. Take off my jacket. My jacket out. Come here, Phoenix. You want to say hi to my YouTube? Meow. Meow, meow, meow. All right, let me fire up my computer. One second here. And while you guys are at it, say hi to Phoenix. This is my newest cat. Say hi, Phoenix. All right, let me fire up this here computer. Hit the StreamYard. Close out all this other stuff. Into the studio. Clear all of this off. Phoenix, get off my desk. that out. All right. And then let's present. Yeah, I don't know where Graham Cracker went, but Phoenix just came out here, so he's down now. He's good to go. And so we're gonna look at asset allocations. This workbench. We're gonna do this one, and we're gonna do one shot. Log in here. Log in. Okay. Log in here. Create an illustration. Select the line. Log in. Grab my mic. Let's just do clients and cases. We'll do Mr. Sweet. And let's do it today, baby. Okay. Damn it. No. It's not acting right. Okay. So now. Yeah, they fight a lot though, but such is life. I gotta get the little one fixed. I haven't got him neutered yet. So he's a little more aggressive than Graham Cracker. Is this UK? Do I need to give you a wrench over here? Let me find out you over here without a wrench, bro. You got to get that wrench jumping. And so now we're going to do this. We're going to share my screen. I'm just going to share my entire screen because it's going to be easier that way. Okay. So here we go. If you look, this is my back office. This is where we illustrate life insurance. And if you'll notice here, it tells you your allocation because that's asset allocation. So first we can put it in the fixed account. We can put in the S&P 500 1-year point-to-point, which is capped. The S&P 500 2-year point-to-point, which is capped. The cap Russell 2000. What's up, Phoenix? You hear my Phoenix in the back. The uncapped BNP or Barclays MMA 1-year point-to-point. The uncapped BNP MMA or money market account 2-year point-to-point. Or the capped Morgan Stanley International Fund, right? That's from one carrier. But now let's take a look at, for example, Prudential, right? Let's go illustrations. I'm just going to do new baby, change product, Prudential. I'm going to do, where's the Momentum IUL? So this is the newest IUL of Prudential, which is called Momentum. Fix all errors. Let's just do a new mail baby. And solve for disbursements. And then we've got accounts. So with Prudential, you've got the 1-year NASDAQ point-to-point, the 1-year S&P 500 uncapped point-to-point, the 6-month S&P 500. You've got the 1-year S&P 500 capped, and then you've got a fixed account. So when we look at asset allocation, we have to look at where the money is going, right? And that is what asset allocation is. And people don't get taught about asset allocation. So what we're going to do now is we're going to look at what each one of these things is and means. So let's go to Google, right? And let's just do like this. Capped S&P 1-year, right? Let's see if I can copy this. Control C. Let's see if I can paste this. Control V. So a capped S&P 500 1-year return means the potential profit is limited by a specific cap, regardless of the actual S&P 500 index performance. The index credits are based on the S&P 500's monthly changes. So remember I told you with life insurance, you get that monthly interest. Well, this is what it's telling you here. This approach offers a potential for upside while also protecting against significant losses. So you can only get this asset allocation in a life insurance policy. Now, there are caps and other things, but this is from a life insurance policy. So let's look at the capped S&P 500 2-year. What is that? Control copy. Let's just do it like this. So a capped S&P 500 2-year index typically refers to a variation in the S&P 500 index where the weight of individual stocks within the index is capped at a certain percentage. This limits the influence of the largest companies in the index, potentially offering diversification benefits. Here's a more detailed explanation. What it is. The S&P 500 is a market capitalization weighted index tracking the performance of 500 large U.S. companies. A capped S&P 500 is a capped version, and it limits the percentage of the index that any single stock can represent. For example, a 3% capped index might mean that no stock can hold more than 3% of the index's total weight. The purpose: capping reduces the influence of dominant stocks, potentially making the index less sensitive to performance of a few large companies. Okay? Now, let's look at what the next one is. We got the capped Russell 2000, right? Control copy. Control paste. Here we go. What is... So this index represents approximately 7% of the total market capitalization of the Russell 3000 index. As of December 31st, 2024, the weighted average market capitalization of a company in the index is approximately $3.65 billion. Okay, so those are companies that are in the Russell 2000. Let's look at what's in the uncapped BMP. Copy. Hey, Graham, hold on. Come here. Come here. I was trying to show Graham, but he wanted to run away. So, and this is from Athene, but let's look at Bloomberg. So it's a multi-asset diversified index, right? So 5 meaning 5%. Let's look at the MSCI, right? Remember, this is just one carrier. So they all offer securities. A capped MSCI EAFE index refers to the variation of the standard MSCI EAFE index, where the weight of individual securities or countries is limited to a certain percentage to reduce concentration risk. This cap aims to prevent a few dominant holdings from disproportionately influencing the index's performance. So while people are telling you, invest in the ABC, invest in QQQ, invest in XYZ, you don't know what the fuck the indexes are or what they're about. So why would you invest in them? Just that's like somebody saying, hey, eat, for example, when it comes to deli meat, my wife only eats boar's head, right? If I were to go to Stop and Shop, AM1, what's going on? Why don't you have a wrench? Give me 1 second. We're talking about Shannon Sharp's peen here, AM1. No, I'm just kidding. I'm talking about asset allocation because there are a lot of people who are on these online and they're teaching inaccurate stuff. Let me add as moderator. And one of the things, ironically enough, that prompted me to do this was your post yesterday, because folks are not focused on health. And if you're not focused on health, you're not focused on wealth. And I realized that, and I've been doing some research because I need to eat better. Fuck, I don't like waking up in pain. I'm in my 40s, right? AM1 said something. He was like, dude, I'm in way better shape than most people my age. The people who are in their 20s right now, by the time they're my age, you know, they're going to be messed up. And that's really true. And for black men, it's even higher. Diabetes, heart disease. You know how many black men are dying before 45 from heart attacks? And then we ain't got no life insurance, so we're not leaving generational wealth for anybody, right? We got, I got crypto. The average, if you look at the entire planet of crypto, the entire planet, it breaks down to each person has $181 worth of crypto. Now, yes, obviously somebody has $1 bazillion worth and somebody has zero. But if you amalgamate every person together who has crypto and you were to give them an equal amount, everybody would have $181. What can you do with 100? I can't pay my cell phone bill with $181. I can't pay my electric bill with $181. My electric bill, because I use the air conditioner and I am in an apartment, so we use a lot of electricity for stuff. My electric bill is at least $350 a month. But let's get back to this asset allocation, because this is what's important here. So now we've looked at one carrier's asset allocations. Let's look at this 1 year. So let's look at the 6-month capped S&P. What is that? Right? They also got the NASDAQ 100, which is a 6-month capped S&P, refers to an investment product where the potential gains are tied to the performance of the S&P 500 index, but with a maximum or capped return, and with the investment period being measured in 6-month segments. This type of account offers potential for growth tied to the market, while also providing a defined limit on how much the investment can increase. Wait, these are life insurance illustrations. Why do they keep saying investment? Let's look at the 1-year S&P 500 uncapped indexed account. And this is with Prudential. Prudential does a lot of investments, so does Emeritus. I'm just showing you two of the largest, most prestigious carriers, one being Emeritus, which a lot of regular people don't know, a lot of wealthy people know. And then one being Prudential, a lot of wealthy people know because it's a prestigious company, but a lot of regular people know too, because it's a prestigiously named company. Right? Index segment allocation. So you can change where you want it to go. Fixed account, S&P 500, right? But now let's look at what that 1-year uncapped account is. Right? What is the 1-year return? Equitrust. Equitrust is Magic Johnson's life insurance company. Check this out. Right? So Magic Johnson, what insurance company does Magic Johnson own? What life insurance company does Magic Johnson owns Equitrust Life Insurance since 2015. Equitrust is one of the largest minority-owned insurance companies in existence. Right? He acquired a 60% stake. Watch this. So how much, let's check this out. Did Magic pay for let's see how much he paid for the Dodgers, because we know about that, right? He paid $50 million for a 2% stake of the Dodgers, right? How much did he pay for the Commanders? He paid $240 million for the Commanders, right? How much did he pay for Equitrust? Magic Johnson's company acquired a majority controlling interest in Equitrust Life Insurance Company in 2015. While the exact details weren't disclosed, he only owned 60% from Guggenheim, and they had $14.5 billion in assets. Now, how much are the LA Dodgers worth? $7.7 billion. So he owns 60% of a life insurance company, which is worth twice the Dodgers. Oh, wait, Guggenheim is worth $12 billion. But Magic bought from, and this is in 2024, Magic bought 60% of the company for probably about the same that he bought the Dodgers. Let's see how much the Washington Commanders are worth. $6 billion. So, and let's see how much is Equitrust Life Insurance Company worth? So it's around $26 billion. So the LA Dodgers is worth what? 12 billion. Let's do some math, right? Let's do some math. So these lucrative for 12, right? Plus 6.5. So combined, they're worth 18 billion. So on the low end, because he increased it from 16 to 26 billion. On the low end, when they started, both the LA Dodgers and the Washington Commanders combined are not worth as much as this life insurance company. What's going on, brother? And shout out to my man Perfect Timing, right? Because he knows what I go through. He knows the struggle. He knows that it's difficulty, it's frustration talking to people. Y'all hit the exactly. Thank you, AM1. Make sure they hit that like button. Cash App if you feel like it. Donate if you feel like it. You don't need to, but I'd prefer you not to donate, and I'd prefer you spend that $300 on your consultation. Now, I'm showing you, and I sat with a young lady some months ago who, ironically enough, was also in Dave's course. And I asked her, I said, hey, do you think this consult was worth $300? She said, absolutely. Because what I'll do is oftentimes I'll give a consult for free. And shout out to K Business Podcast. And shout out to K. He hit me up. He was like, yeah, man, I might need to get with you and get a consult. I was like, okay, cool. Well, he's I don't need you to give me information right now. I need to pay for this consult. That's what I said I'm going to do. So I don't want any information. I'm going to need you to do me a favor, Alonzo. I need you to stop giving this stuff for free. You already have a YouTube where you give the information for free. If people want to get that information, when they talk to you, you can talk to them for free for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, hey, Bob, listen, I have a YouTube channel that breaks down a lot of this stuff on the 30,000 foot level. When you're ready to pay like your way and get stuff specifically for you, come see me. So shout out to Kay, shout out to Rael, shout out to Sheed We Here, shout out to a lot of people who keep telling me, bro, start charging people. I'll bet you all those clients, and Perfect Timing says so too. I bet you everybody who, when you've been doing these things for free, they don't show up, they blow it off, they take their time. Everybody who's paid has, you know what's funny? Every person who has paid my consult fee has become a client. The majority of people who have not paid my consult fee have not become a client. I wonder why. I guess when you pay for something, you take it substantially more seriously. Let's go back here. So again, let's look at the 1 year NASDAQ. So this holds the Magnificent Seven. This is why I got excited and was going to move over to Prudential. I may still do that. Okay, so we'll have them explain. A 1 year NASDAQ 100 capped index account offers protection against losses and participation in the growth of the NASDAQ 100 index, but with a limited upside. It's essentially an investment product that combines capital protection with exposure to the market's positive returns up to a predetermined cap. So over the 1 year period, the account guarantees that your principal will not be lost, meaning if the NASDAQ 100 index declines, you will not experience a loss. Upside participation. If the NASDAQ index increases in value, the account will generate returns, but these returns are capped at a specific percentage. This means you won't be able to capture the full upside of the index, but you're protected from downside risk. That's literally what an IUL is, ladies and gentlemen. It's upside of the market, downside protection because you're not participating in the market. You're reflecting what it does. So the account uses an index-linked strategy where your returns are tied to the performance of the NASDAQ 100, but with the added protection and the capped upside. So imagine the NASDAQ increases by 10% in a year, but the cap is set at 8%. your account will only generate a return of 8%, not the full 10%. So let's look at the pros. Capital protection. You don't risk losing any of your initial investment. So let's do this, right? In this example. For example, if the NASDAQ decreased by 10%, you decrease by 0. You don't gain anything, but you don't lose anything. Okay? So that's what those things are. Let's that was basically my presentation for the day. So now I want to leave it up for folks to come up and talk a little bit. If you have questions, comments, concerns, let me put the link in the chat. And no, the K services is not him. Oh, Doug, you don't have a wrench. Hold on, let's get you a wrench here. Wrench gang. Most of the people who come through, I give you guys all wrench gang for the fact that I don't really have like if there are trolls who come in, yeah, cool. But I want you guys to be able to, promote your stuff and all that stuff and be able to go look at other people, so on and so forth. So while I'm at it, actually, you know what I'm going to do? Because we were talking about FINRA and day trading. And again, this is not a shot at Diamond Dave. This is more having the legitimacy, strengthening the legitimacy of Diamond Dave. Right? So we're at FINRA.org, Financial Industry Regulatory Authority. FINRA, 85 years of protecting investors. So let's go day trading. Right? Margin regulation, let's just say day trading. So day trading. Do you actively trade stocks? If so, it's important to know what it means to be a pattern day trader, because there are requirements associated with engaging in pattern day trading. Once you understand the requirements you must meet, you reduce the risk that your firm will place restrictions on your ability to trade. So now what is day trading? Hold on, let me do it like this. So now what is day trading? Day trading, as defined by FINRA's margin rule, refers to a trading strategy where an individual buys and sells or sells and buys the same security in a margin account on the same day in an attempt to profit from small movements in the price of the security. So off rip, if you don't have a margin account, you're not day trading according to FINRA, the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority. Just like if you're not in the NBA, you're not a national, if you're not in the the NBA Players Association or part of the NBA, you're not an actual basketball player. You're not a professional basketball player, right? You might be semi-pro, but you're not a pro. The only pros are in the NBA. The big three are not professional basketball players. And one is not professional basketball players. AAU are not professional basketball players. European League are semi-pro. Technically, they're professional, but overseas in America, we don't recognize that. No problem, Doug. So FINRA's margin rule for day trading applies to day trading any security, including options. So this is not me saying this. This is not me being a financial professional who's jaded and trying to shite on anyone who's doing what they're doing. This is me trying to help you as the general public protect yourself, which is why you have things like FINRA.org, because FINRA is here to help protect you. So day trading in a cash account is not permitted. All securities purchased in the cash account must be paid for in full before they are sold. This is why when you hear people telling you to day trade and day trading in cash accounts and blah 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 blah. Oh yeah, man, just get it for $17.50. Get the $17. They don't tell you to do anything that's lucrative or worthwhile. They tell you to get a $17, investment. Let's see. Okay. 1 second. Dan Pena. Ted Pick, CEO of Morgan Stanley. Use those. I mean, Anyway, so all securities purchased in the cash account must be paid in full before they are sold. In the cash account, under FINRA rules, purchasing a security and paying for it in full, as required by Regulation T, and then selling it is not considered a day trade. So you got to pay for the security in full, right? If you don't pay for it in full, what the fuck are you doing, right? And really quick, just so we can see here, because, like I said, I curse, I smoke, I spit, I listen to gangster rap, right? Some people don't like it. But again, also, what's worse? An F-bomb or the conditions people are left in. Because words. Exactly. But what's worse, the F-bomb or the conditions? So again, right? I'm actually texting back and forth. Somebody was just telling me he don't like the profanity. Fuck it. You don't like the profanity, don't like it, right? It ain't for everybody, right? um we gonna lay that down right now. So um who is a pattern day trader? According to FINRA rules, you're considered a pattern day trader if you execute 4 or more day trades within 5 business days, provided that the number of day trades represents more than 6% of your total trades in the margin account for that same 5 business day period. There are 2 methods of counting day trades. Please contact your brokerage firm for more details on how they count trades, right? So now let's look at here. What are the requirements for pattern day traders? First, pattern day traders must maintain a minimum equity of $25,000 in their margin account. Yes, Grandma. Yes, Grandma.
Yeah, another reason the mother told me the my president don't come over today. They turned off the water early this morning. It won't be back until around 4 o'clock. The toilet water, the sink water, kitchen water, everything. So we have no water, so no way to flush the toilet or nothing. So I thought, so let me tell you. So maybe just don't come over today, okay?
All right.
Bye-bye.
Love you.
Love you too.
So, okay. Again, you got to have a $25,000 minimum equity of $25,000 in your margin account on any day that the customer does a day trade, right? This required minimum equity can be a combination of eligible cash and securities, and it must be in your account prior to engaging in any day trading activities, right? If the account falls below 25,000 requirement, the pattern day trader won't permit it to day trade until the account is restored to the 25,000 minimum equity level, right? So you have to have it because day trading can be extremely risky for both sides, right? So let me see if anybody wants to come up, speak their piece, and then we're going to get ready to close out here. Let me just add this. Anybody wants to come up? I've been going for an hour, right? We're talking about the asset allocation, right? I'm talking about a bunch of other stuff. Like I said, I curse, spit, smoke, listen to gangster rap. I ain't changing. You don't like it, you don't have to be my client. You don't have to consume my content. I'm not for everybody. It's just like if I was up here saying Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. What about the people who don't like Jesus? Well, for those people who don't like Jesus, should I say, well, you shouldn't say Jesus because you might offend somebody who's Muslim. So when somebody's like, hey, you got to clean up your act and not cuss because you might offend somebody. Fuck the people I offend. I care about the people that want to rock with me. And I say this, if an F-bomb bothers you so much, worry about the conditions that you're left in because you don't get the proper information, right? This ain't about a transaction. This is about strategy. Shout out to my young lady, Roberta Hosky, a young lady who does a big-time real estate and opened a real estate school here in Connecticut. Her first deal netted her a $250,000 commission. What did she do? She opened a real estate school. She's clean and polished. That works for some people. You know who it didn't work for? America. That's why the fuck we voted for Donald Trump, huh? Exactly. So the reality is, you're not going to be for everybody. Why is my I was like, why am I not on this camera? Right? So you're not going to be for everybody. So it is what it is. I see right here, nobody wants to come up. So I'm going to get ready to close it down. Make sure you hit that like, drop a comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're made aware every time I release new content. And as always, share, share, share. Lastly, to contribute to channel growth or to schedule an appointment with a licensed financial professional, the links are in the description of this video. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, wipe ass. Work in progress every day and see success. Wipe ass. Work in progress every day and see success. Wipe ass. Work in progress every day and see success. And remember, folks, when people challenge you, they don't challenge you to challenge you, but they challenge you to challenge you. Accept the challenge. Salute. Damn, why is my phone going crazy?